All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Is everyone awake? Type 3 if you're awake. Don't type anything if you're asleep. Don't recommend it. Hope you guys are doing well. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. It is Friday, the 8th day here of March, almost at April. 42 minutes now after the hour. Hope you guys are doing well. I know it's kind of a crummy day, cloudy outside, and got rain increasing. So just one of those kind of slow nap days, right? Where you're looking at the clock and just thinking, come on, hurry up. Let's get to the afternoon so I can go home and take a nap, watch a movie. If you're going to watch any, by the way, I have two. I was just telling Tawana and Carson about this morning. Two movies I highly recommend you see. Dune 2. You need to see the first one to kind of understand a little bit about what's going on. It is a complex story. If you guys remember the 80s version, which I grew up with, I remember that one well. But the second one is definitely just a visually incredible movie. So to me, it's up there now. It's one of my top 10 favorite of all time movies. So if you have something, again, you are interested in seeing or want to go to the theater, I recommend that. And also as well, Killers of a Flower Moon.
I thought I heard my name. You talking about me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't say anything. None else. Don't want to type anything in there. See, they're fine. They're fine. You're good. Yeah. Happy Friday. Anyway, back to Tawana, what we're saying. No, I'm just teasing. The other is Killers of a Flower Moon, I think was also an incredible movie. It's long, 3.5 hours, but it is worth it. So there you go. There's my movie reviews for the week. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Bradley. You mentioned the lighting. I noticed that too. It is very, very bright. I look like I have not seen any sun in a long, long time. I'll work on that. But I did know the same thing when I got in here today. So you're right. It does seem a little off there. Okay, so let's get into how this is going to play out for the weekend. There are some minor changes to talk about over the next few days. And hold on one second. I got to change the setting here. A few changes for the weekend I want to make sure to bring to your attention. Nothing major, which is good. But before we do that, don't forget that we are now counting down here, guys. Yeah. 31 days. It'll be 30 as of this afternoon, but yeah, a month away from the Great American Eclipse. Happening here into Wave Country. Get ready. Indiana, your turn now after Kentucky had its turn in 2017. I will be, as well as Kevin, will be up in Seymour, Indiana. So if you're going to be in that area, make sure to come out and say hello. We'll talk more about that in the coming days, I promise. All right, outside at the moment, spooky, threatening-looking clouds that are moving into the area. Looks like it's about to just flat out start pouring rain at any moment, and it will. So the clouds matching what the theme and the vibe feels like. 53 at the moment, at least that's somewhat mild. It's not overly cold and it's not overly warm. It's just not exactly Goldilocks either. It's just right there on the tolerable level, right? In the lower 50s. We'll get into the 60s today. Despite the rain, we're still going to increase the thermometer, so that's pretty remarkable. But the rain certainly increased after a morning round that we had, pre-dawn round. Now we had a bit of a break. Now we're going to see it ramp up as we continue on for this morning. Already seeing some of the yellows showing up around Bardstown. Lebanon Junction back in just north of E-Town. Could be some lightning and thunder with some of this today. We're not expecting severe weather, but there could be some lightning and thunder. But the rainfall rate certainly is increasing. In fact, you see a downpour that just popped up. Let me zoom in a little closer. Other way, right there over the airport into Okolona and Waterston Expressway. So a hefty little shower just now popping up, heading right toward me, actually, here in downtown. So rain at times, locally heavy. So the roads, we got pretty lucky this morning with it being light. But as we get through the lunch hour, it's going to be messy. And certainly this afternoon, it's just going to be a messy drive. Okay. So this is part of a very messy setup. This is not, one giant low pressure that's moving in. And that actually is a good thing. If it were one storm system rolling through, we would have a much bigger severe weather threat. We'd have a lot more snow to worry about. There'd be a lot more extremities to this entire setup that we'd be facing. Instead, with a couple of areas of low pressure kind of sharing the wealth as they move through the region, they are splitting out the difference on what's available as far as moisture and energy. And because of that, we cut down on the severe potential. You cut down somewhat on the snow as well. You don't have a lot of cold air with this because, again, you don't have one big organized low to drive the cold air down from Canada. There's not a ton up there, but whatever it is available, it's limited. So therefore, you only get a very sloppy setup when it comes to getting some cold air on the northern side. Pretty typical for a March system. Your severe threat will stay to the south. Heavy rain, though, that's the issue. Anytime we see this scenario where you get these two low pressures moving through and you don't have a lot of severe weather, you can get some very heavy rain bands. The only thing that will help us is as long as we keep the lightning and thunder to a minimum, especially with tonight's round, that will reduce some of the rainfall rates. If you start to get lightning and thunder, the rainfall rates go up, and then you run into some high water issues that can develop. But that hopefully will not be the case just because of the rainfall rate. Hopefully will be a bit lighter tonight, just more widespread. You see the severe risk again way down for the I-10 corridor. Not worried about it. Here's Futurecast. This is the HERT model. Actually does quite well in this scenario. Initialized well this morning, so I think it's a fairly good one to follow. It shows the increase in downpours as we into this afternoon. Again, it won't be raining the same rate in all areas of all of you watching right now. Some of you will have a very much a quiet couple of hours. You may have nothing that will fall. And some of you may get one of these downpours about every 20 minutes. You're like, please just stop. So it just depends on where you're at and how these are arranged. But certainly the I-65 corridor is standing out for picking up the most of some of those yellows that are showing up. We may see one of those little breaks at times this evening, but if you have plans on this Friday night, be aware there will be some downpours around. And then here's the overnight round that we were tracking yesterday, trying to figure out if it was going to be Indiana over Louisville or to the east. And the past 12 hours, 12 to 24, the trend has been to push it closer to I-75 instead of I-65. So this looks like a Kentucky heavy rain type scenario overnight tonight, early on Saturday, very early, perhaps even before sunrise. That would hopefully distribute the rainfall rate enough across both sides of the Ohio today to where we don't have to worry about a lot of flooding because Indiana got so much rain out of the last couple of rounds. So that's good, but still, this is going to be a good drink of water coming our way as we have the next 24 hours. Now, for Saturday, the heaviest of the rain I mentioned early in the day, but that's not all of the rain. I think we will have to deal with rain in some fashion throughout the entire day. Downpours and showers will continue for mainly across Kentucky through about noon on Saturday. The warmest part of the day will be the morning in the 50s. Temperatures will begin to slide downward as we get into the afternoon on Saturday with gusty winds. And another pocket of light rain and drizzle will be the caboose, if you will, that will move over us late afternoon into sunset for your Saturday evening. And this time around, this light rain and drizzle will accompany the colder winds. Yes, this will likely impact the parade, mainly in the sense of a drizzle scenario, gusty winds, and temperatures in the 40s, feeling like 38, 39. It's been worse. A couple years ago, we had 20 degrees, wind chills in the single digits, and we had 1 inch to 2 inches of snow on the ground. So you never know what you're going to get for parade time. We've had worse. This is not the worst case scenario of avoiding issues like that for the parade. You can still have a lot of fun. And usually at St. Patrick's Parade, you have fun no matter what. So I'm not sure why I'm discussing too many of the weather elements. You're still going to go if you're going to go. And there's plenty of spots, obviously, to get inside if you need to, if you get over the drizzle and the wind. So again, it's not anything life-threatening or anything like that. Now, that's what we worry about. We make sure we avoid any severe elements and everyone can enjoy the day. And that looks to be the case. Just kind of a crummy setup overall. But then look what happens. Look what happens. We get into tomorrow night and temperatures drop. And yep, we're back to the lovely pinks and blues that show up on the radar, indicating that some of these areas of very light showers may turn into snow showers and flurries for the pre-dawn hours on Sunday. And I thought, well, maybe it's just one model saying this. No, I went through. There are 7 models that are showing that potential now for snowflakes to fly for early Sunday morning. So we're going to be adding snowflakes to the forecast. Now, this is just flakes. All right. We're not looking at it as snowfall. It's going to accumulate or anything like that. But it is certainly still a reminder that technically it's still winter and winter is going to try to fight back. So if you are out early on Sunday morning work, second or third shift, get up early in the day, you may indeed see some of those flakes are flying by there. All right. It is going to be a colder setup on Sunday, but it will be a prettier day. More in the way of sunshine, gusty winds, and I don't think the thermometer is going to make it out of the 40s. So it is going to be a chilly day, but still, it will be pretty. That's what will matter. Rainfall amounts. All right. You see the issue that we'll have on some of those bands today. This accounts for the rain now, this afternoon, and the rain overnight into early Saturday. So all that's being accounted for solidly over an inch of rainfall could certainly fall. Again, if you get lightning and thunder, you'll get some of the higher end totals you see there. If you end up avoiding lightning and thunder, you will likely see amounts just under 1 inch, but still, again, a decent amount of rainfall and good for the spring season. So it's not all bad news. We'll take it. Okay, what happens after this? So I'm glad you asked. As we get into next week, we still are looking at a quiet few days. Monday and Tuesday, at least. Wednesday, there's still just a little boundary that sneaks in right there for Wednesday. We got to keep a shower chance in the forecast. I'm hoping we can take it out. It looks minor. It just may delay the rapid warming and get into the 70s just a smidge because of it moving on by. Otherwise, Thursday looks to be the warmest day next week in the 70s, maybe even mid 70s. We get toward the end of next week. Another low moves by. There's actually two again that we're facing. This one will be approaching at some point on Friday. There is some fuel. It is showing thunderstorm potential on this, but the timing, at least on the Euro right now, is Friday morning. That's not prime for severe weather. The Colorado State Learning Module, the AI system we've been monitoring for severe weather, has indeed added a severe risk for the area, very low end. So we'll watch it and see. Timing's everything, and models can't pick out. They got about a 6 to 8 hour buffer on a time frame this far out. So that's too much of a window still. We got to see how that balances out. But maybe a gusty thunderstorm again as we next Friday. And then the pattern just gets interesting because we get into these lows, very similar to what we got this weekend. These lows move by, and then you get these upper lows that just dive in from Canada that dig into the Great Lakes in the eastern United States, allowing for chilly air to move in. And I think this is going to repeat itself several times between now and the first week of April. And that could even enhance some of these digs into the Northeast, could actually dig and become a little more colder as we get closer in time. Still nothing brutal or anything like that, but I think it will certainly remind us that winter is still at play. And it may even still keep the S word in the forecast into the last 10 days here of March that are ahead of us. So not the best news of spring, but you guys knew this was potentially coming. So this is not a shock, and nothing's off the rails. Nothing's going off here that seems unusual. This is actually fairly typical to see something like this happen in late March. So this will likely linger, I think, for the last 10 days of March. And then hopefully we'll get out of this into April. The Euro does not think that. Euro does not want to really warm us up and try to hold us to that level until after thunder over Louisville. I'm hoping it'll happen sooner than that. And I'm hoping that because we're seeing this pattern of these systems digging in like this, we don't have one of them like this that'll be digging in near the eclipse time, because that would allow for some issues. That's a widespread cloud scenario. When you get cold air moving in from Canada, it induces clouds over much of the eastern United States. And this cool pattern, if it lingers in April, that would be an issue for eclipse time. But that's a month out. That's a month out. Which day, John? I have a baseball tournament at 9 tomorrow, ending at 7. You won't have the steady rainfalls, anything heavy at all, John. So it'll be just a drizzle. Everything's going to be wet. That is not going to change. Kind of that wet, soggy feel. The wind is probably one of the issues, too, you need to account for. There will be some gusty winds coming into play. But you'll be at the turf complex there. But with obviously not being as much of an issue on heavy rainfall. But still, just kind of a crummy setup when it comes to the lighter rain. But the heavier rain will be over with by that point. So you'll be fine. Let's see. Everyone else good? Everyone's quiet today. You guys good? You guys good? You getting sleep? You getting tired? Angela, anti-Festa flakes. Yeah. Snow is not a big fan this time of year, is it? But man, we get some pretty ones though in March and April on here. We really do. 2018, first day, was the first day of, I think it was the first day of spring, wasn't it? 2018 was 11 inches of snow that we had fall. So that was a beautiful, beautiful snow. Remember, the snow was accumulating in my eyebrows and my eyelashes. Pretty powerful stuff. Okay, I'll leave it there, guys. I don't want to bore you guys too much. The weather's nothing. There's nothing extreme going on. So we'll just leave it at that. But just be careful out there traveling. Again, it's going to be just a mess on the roads today with the pockets of moderate to heavy rain. And again, get ready for that colder blast of air moving in tomorrow night. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys coming up on midday.